Top story this week. The world is free. Once again, thanks to our overlord and leader, Donald Trump, democratically elected to be king of the world by 1% of the population of the planet, has liberated humanity with his Liberation Day tariffs. One of the weirdest moments in international economic history, where Trump wielded a big placard of essentially made up numbers to unveil his tariffs on every single place in the world, including some places that don't even have actual human beings on, which we'll get to in a bit. He branded it as a Liberation Day, when finally America unshackled itself from the onerous burden of any sense of responsibility to the world as its most powerful nation, when it liberated its economy from, well, economics, and when it liberated itself from itself by defenestrating itself through the open window of freedom to either fly or plummet, delete according to whether or not you believe in gravity. Now, I know both of you are huge fans of tariffs.
They're terrific.
Tiff, what as the Bugle's international trade correspondent, what did you make of it?
Mercantilism. Let's bring it back, baby. So basically the economy is on a Zempic because it is shrinking. She is looking so snatched right now. Trump showed up with his tariff boards, kind of like the specials in the world's worst restaurant. He sort of held it up to go through what would pair nicely with some huge tariffs in Europe. And on the back, I think, were a series of nuclear missile code launches. So that was good. I mean, look, it's this may be the first upside to Brexit we've seen, in that we're only going to get the 10% tariff rather than the rest of Europe, which I think is 39%. Trump wants to do trade with us, but he wants us to buy chlorinated chicken as part of the deal. I don't know if you've heard about this. So we got to get those Lido wings if we want tax relief. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to eat a chicken that's wearing armbands with a verruca plaster stuck to its butt. So I'm not keen. I mean, it's sent the markets into frenzy. You know, the FTSE's down. The Dow Jones is down, but that's just Welshmen generally. They're quite depressed. We are I think it's an attempt to bring back mercantilism, which is kind of what started the Revolutionary War, isn't it, in America? So I just think we should bring back more stuff from the 17th century. I think neck ruffs, men in bloomers, lead-based makeup to hide your syphilis. Yes, please. Bring it all back.
Well, so if you're wondering what's going on and you think, oh, I don't know how to look things up on the internet anymore because everything's terrible, a tariff is short for a tax riff, and it's basically freestyle jazz riffing on taxes by making foreign goods more expensive so that people who want to take advantage of globalization by buying cheap consumer goods from foreign countries instead have to buy expensive consumer goods from whatever industry you can cobble together from spit and lube. Making everything more expensive for everyone is a tactic beloved of boomers because they remember a time when a television cost more than a month's rent, and a month's rent could be paid with a day's work, where now a television costs the same as a sandwich and a month's rent is paid with a month's work in your full-time job plus half of what you make on your side hustle Etsy store / OnlyFans crochet porn bijou business. The reasoning behind these tariffs is this weird presumption that the United States does not merely sell its products to other countries and buy goods that it needs in turn, rather that it is being taken advantage of by all the freeloading countries that it subsidized, suckling at the teat of America. Or as Mr. Trump said on a Wednesday, his country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered. There's this outrage that some countries don't want to buy American products, chlorinated chicken, for example, European countries that won't buy American beef, which is being presented as protectionist prejudice, but may have something to do with the fact that Americans use chemicals in their feed and processing that are illegal to call food in some countries. Don't know what to say, America. Your factory farmed beef isn't beef. I think in Montenegro they're technically allowed to import it, but has to be declared at customs as, quote, torture food for the night horrors. They can taste the pain, end quote.
I was rather intrigued by those words. That the US has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. Now, I can't recall if Trump himself has been convicted of all 4 of those crimes, but I think he's pretty close. And I mean, it was a bit odd to hear the leader of the world's biggest, most exploitative economic powerhouse complaining about his nation being looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered. Reminiscent when Sharky the Shark complained about how Sally the Seal hurt his teeth with one of her bony vertebrae, then gave him indigestion. But it also does suggest that modern progress and the interconnected world has taken all the glory and glamour out of looting, pillaging, and plundering. It used to involve an exciting journey, a thrill-seeking invasion, proper planning, risk, and effort. It was exhausting. Just ask the Vikings; they were knackered all the time. Now all you have to do is sit back and wait for example, American businesses to betray their own workforce by outsourcing to save money. The game's gone. When it comes to looting, pillaging, and plundering, we've all gone soft.
There's there's an uninhabited bit of Antarctica that's had a tariff whacked on it, and finally penguins are paying their fair share. I mean, they are raging about it. I got a direct quote from Pingu. He said, "Noot, noot," and then he peed all over the snow.
Right, which is actually a more coherent economic policy than we've seen coming out of the White House. Another thing Trump said, he said, foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure entirely foreign scavengers, and if they have torn it, but they were really fed that American dream by American plutocrats and profiteering capitalists who wanted everything done cheaper. The kind of people who, a cynic might say, potentially end up as president of America, complaining essentially about themselves. He also said, tariffs are going to make us rich as hell. A couple of things. A, hell's not that rich. The fuel bill is astronomical, and it's so overcrowded nowadays. They're having to expand to accept a predicted record influx that will be coming over the next generation or two, and the cost involved in that have really undermined the whole operation.
I heard Satan's doing an AGM about that. He's doing an
Yep.
AGM about fossil fuels. He
Yep.
really wants to turn it around.
And history also suggests that the only way tariffs can make you rich as hell is spiritually, not financially. Because when the entire economy tanks, everyone loses everything. People have to learn to appreciate the non-material things in life, which isn't always Trumpian America's MO. So in terms of how the tariffs were calculated, I'm going to give you a multiple choice quiz here, Buglers. How did Donald Trump and his regime calculate the different tariffs for each country? Was it A, with an in-depth analysis of the infinite complexities of international trade designed to create a sustainably equitable system to the benefit of both the USA and the international trading community as a whole? Was it B, with some sub-primary school level mathematics based on unlicensed economics, outright lies, and a spiritually rancid philosophy of nationalist isolationism? Was it C, by firing a baby hippopotamus out of a cannon into a cliff, analysing the splatter patterns and using AI to translate that into numbers? Or was it D, by pairing up randomly selected nations with randomly selected cricket statistics? For example, Cambodia, the nation, paired up with the cricket stat wickets taken by the great England bowler S.F. Barnes in the 1913-14 series in South Africa, the all-time record by one bowler in a test series. Hence, Cambodia gets 49%. Sri Lanka and David Gower's test batting average, 44%. Norfolk Island, test 100 scored by Australian batting legend Don Bradman, 29%. Nicaragua, most wickets taken by a bowler in a single first-class match. Jim Lakers, 19 at Old Trafford in 1956, hence they get 19%. So those are the 4 options. I don't know the answer, other than that it definitely wasn't option A. Whether it's B, C, D, or some combination of those, we'll have to let history be the judge.
I very much enjoyed sub-primary school there, Andy. It's a nice way to just recall America's last minor economic snafu.
I thought it was just an abbreviation of that term.
Like that you could find the silver lining in all of this, Andy, by like relating it to cricket stats.
Well, I can always do
Andy
that.
just trying to find a sliver of joy in the darkest
that's
of
the last thing to
moments.
go. It's like a boxer's punch.
Well, as far as sort of the literature by experts on international trade goes, there's very little of what you'd call, respectable expert opinion that supports the structuring of these tariffs. The administration seems to acknowledge at least that it's going to be bad in the short to medium long term. There's going to be pain. I see people saying cheap goods were never part of the American dream, which is a big call because it really depends on whether you define happiness as access to an air fryer, which I'm pretty sure I know at least 8 suburban boomers who absolutely do. I mean, we can pretend that erratic trade policy is the perfect environment for long-term investment. They come build a factory here, unless, of course, we randomly change our mind next week or drop the tariffs or replace them with an interpretive dance-based trade policy. They seem to be justifying the pain by saying, first of all, this is about national security. Nothing threatens democracy like cheap solar panels. They say it's about reciprocity, the economic version of stop hitting yourself, but I'm the one who's hitting you, and also I'm hitting myself. And also, actually, it's good for your soul to be poor. Just ask a Victorian vicar who happens to be the 4th son of a lord. So, and of course, these tariffs will, in classic American fashion, be counterbalanced by subsidies to preferred industries, by which they mean farming corn specifically, because that's part of their self-image. It's sort of identity affirming surgery is to give subsidies to the corn industry. For a gang of people who obsessively talk about freedom and free markets, they sure do a lot of putting the invisible and unlubricated hand of the market right up the butthole of justice, Andy, is all I'm saying.
That's what Adam Smith would have wanted.
Yeah, I'm wondering what Maynard Keynes thinks about all of this. It's there's been market panic, hasn't there? And I keep reading that there's a bear market, which I can only hope is actually just lots of gay men in leather just wandering around complimenting each other. I could have gone for bear from the animal kingdom, but I just like the gay bears more.
Right.
They're just they have beards. They have beards. They like to party. I'm into it.
Are we sure when that meme went around about, like, would you rather be in the forest with a man or a bear?
Yeah. Well, that's it. If you mean a bear, if that's the bear you mean, I'm here for it because I know we're going to listen to Kylie. We're going to have a great time. The bear still wins. No matter what, the bear wins.